I'm delighted and at the same time frustrated to say that there's only one real prerequisite at the moment, only one real thing missing from the panel of requirements for moving this technology forward as fast as our rate of discovery allows, and that is money. The fact is, at this point, we're probably only going 1/3 or so as fast in terms of progressing these various aspects of regenerative medicine for aging as we could do if we had unlimited funds. The other two aspects that I like to highlight that we need in order to actually get progress to be made as fast as possible are already in place. One of them is to have a plan. Of course, we have got SENS as a detailed, very concrete plan for how to actually combat aging with medicine. And the other is to have the personnel, to make sure that a sufficient number of the very most specialist, world-leading scientists in the various disciplines who have done the background work, the precursor work from which we will develop these technologies, that those people are actually enthusiastic about applying themselves to this particular strand, this particular application of their work. That also has very much been achieved. We have enormous support from the world leaders in all of the relevant areas. So it's all about just giving them the financial resources to get on with the job. Another piece of good news in this area is that the amount of money that we actually need in order to really be going as fast as we possibly could, so that the actual rate of scientific discovery is the rate limiting step, is only about $100 million a year. A really tiny number. That's like, 1 or 2% of the budget that's spent on medical research in the USA, for example. It's a really small amount of money. The reason why it's so small is because for the next several years, pretty much all the work that needs to be done will be in the laboratory, in cell culture and in mice. And of course, work like that is far, far cheaper than work on human beings, actual clinical trials. We feel that once a sufficient amount of progress has been made in mice to actually give really impressive results, that it will be very, very, very much easier to get the much more substantial amounts of money that will be required to translate that technology through to humans and do the clinical trials and so on. So we're worried at the moment only about the first stage, getting those mouse results. And that really could be done with $100 million a year. Even $30 or $40 million a year would be enough to go nearly that fast. There would be less redundancy, there would be less ability to work on different parallel approaches to the same problem in various cases throughout the spectrum of things we need to work on. But there would still be the ability to work on all the most promising approaches. So really, we're getting pretty close to the right amount. At the moment, SENS Foundation has a budget of between $4 and $5 million a year, so we've only got to take that up by one order of magnitude and we'll be there. I believe that the main way in which we will continue to grow the amount of funding that exists for this research is by continued advocacy, by not simply talking to high net worth individuals and such like who can provide these funds directly, but also talking to the general public. Ultimately, every individual, however much money they may have and however individualistic they may be, they still take into account other people's opinions in making their decisions. And so sometimes that means people that we don't get a chance to talk to directly. And that means that it's useful for us to actually get out there in the media and to give a lot of public lectures and so on, and make sure to educate the general public, throughout the world, especially in the USA, but elsewhere as well, on the purpose of this work, the feasibility of this work, to educate people, to eliminate the misconceptions that are so rife.